This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Right out of the door!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Because I'm the Mark. And I'm awesome!
The Guru.
Today I'm going to break it down for all you simpleton sweat hogs listening out there in Can Crusher Nation. I don't mean to come out here week after week and toot my own horn, but toot, toot.
And the English Professor.
It is I, the English Professor from the County of Kings, speaking the English of the Queen.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome back to Can Crusher Spotlight. My name is Mark Martinez. I will be your host for this joyride this week. Let me tell you about Can Crusher Spotlight. We have guests involved in wrestling on this show. That's pretty much it. Legends, indie stars, up-and-comers, something to do with comic books, something to do with t-shirts, maybe some hats soon, video games, all that kind of stuff. If it's wrestling related, we'll have you on here as a guest. And it's St. Patrick's Day, so yes, I have had a few already. I wish I could sing a shanty song. You know how they're having on TikTok, all the pirate shanty songs and stuff like that. One, you guys don't want to hear me sing. I'm pretty damn sure of that. Two, I just can't bust a rhyme like the English Professor. I can't. So, we'll do the next best thing. We will go deep in the heart of Texas and bring our guest, the undeniable Dean Fleming. Dean Fleming from SOAR is going to come on this show. We're going to talk about how Texas is rebuilding from the snowstorm roughly about a month ago now, or a couple weeks ago, whatever. Talking about an event that he was just at, and I want to know about this cat. I did some homework, but I want to know some more about the undeniable Dean Fleming. I don't know if it's going to be good, it's going to be bad, but I know it's undeniably going to be a fun interview because that's what we do here on Can Crushers. And of course, we do something else. I just got my Good Brother sweatpants in about 3 days ago. Yeah, I am so pumped. These joggers are comfortable as all hell. I got my new wrestling shirt in from Collar and Elbow. I got my new hoodie in. I'm just loving this gear. I don't have to leave the house again. CollarandElbow.com. All great wrestling apparel. And of course, we have the promo code Can Crushers. All one word, capital C in Can, capital C in Crushers. When you check out, you put that in a little promo code box and it saves you 10%. So go get the Good Brother joggers. Like I said, I called them sweats, but my son corrected me. They are joggers nowadays. They're sweatpants for me. Guys, check out their apparel. It's amazing. All right, I've rambled enough. Here's Al Snow, and then when we come back, the undeniable one, Dean Fleming.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back to Can Crushers, guys. I told you this is going to be a great interview as we got the scoop ahead of time. I have not seen the match, but, my people know his people, and it got back. I want to thank Dante Smiley for all of this, of course. Right now on Can Crushers is the tag team champion of SOAR, but even better, the first ever grand champion, the undeniable one, Dean Fleming. Dean, how the hell are you doing today?
Hey, man, we're pretty good. We're just, hanging out on this lovely St. Patrick's Day, huh?
It is. Have you had any green beverages yet?
Not yet, but I will.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I can't wait to head to the watering hole to have one. So you had a huge match about 10 days ago with the Self-Made Men, and you kind of got your title. You got your title. I'm pretty pumped about this.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it too. Hey, I had to take their gold away from them because they cost me one prior to that. So it's kind of their own fault.
It really is. It really is. You were a former heavyweight champion at SOAR, but now you got something back in you, redemption, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And my partner, Damian Daystar, I've been mentoring him. He's a young cat. He's a little hot-headed, so I'm trying to level him out some. And, our partnership worked out.
Are you teaching him the same thing, that winning isn't everything, it's the only thing?
Oh, absolutely. That's a motto to live by right there.
In and out of the ring. I agree. So
definitely, you got to win in all. You got to win in all phases of life. So.
You do. Before we get into wrestling and do the rewind that I normally do here on Can Crushers, guys, we know that SOAR is down in Texas. Dean, how are you guys rebounding from the snow, the damage that has been over the last couple of weeks?
It's been pretty rough. It's been pretty weird, honestly, because I'm originally from Texas, but I did go up to college up in Arkansas, in Northwest Arkansas, and we ended up getting a lot of snow there, and we didn't have near the damage we had here in Texas. But I guess that's part of the working off of one grid that's really tailored for the summer, not for the winter. But I know there's still some damages in certain schools and businesses nearby us, but they're starting to rebuild. They're getting some insurance money to help out with it.
That's good. One step at a time. My godfather is actually down in, and you're going to smack me because we talked a little bit off air before we did this interview, but my godfather living down in Houston, one time on Facebook, he did a pan and he's like, "Oh my God, look what we got." And it was the Monday that we got a foot of snow. And I'm like, I call him Uncle Mark, but, he's like my godfather. I'm like, Uncle Mark, we just got that in the hour. And this is before, I knew what was happening to Texas. So I feel horrible now because, you guys got 6 inches and it kind of shut you down. And I'm like, oh, shut up. That's nothing. Now I feel like a giant jackass because Texas is shut down twice over, right?
Yeah, it's pretty absurd down here when it snows or even ices. A few years back, they shut down everything when there was a 1/4 inch of snow. It just shut it down, shut everything down. It's so awful how we handle that here.
It's a different climate. It really is. I should just start a snow plowing business down there for the other couple times you get it every 6 months or so, right?
Yeah, hey, we have it once every few years, make a little money on the side doing that.
Yeah. So many loops links to Texas right now. My boss just went boar hunting. Are you into that at all down there?
Me personally, no. I'm not a big hunter. But I know a lot of people that do, and they have fun with it, I guess.
Yeah, I play this video game. It's called Hunter Call of the Wild. That's where I get my boars. I I'm not an outdoorsy guy. Now you're going to say, oh my God, yeah, he's one of those nerds that sit behind a computer and just talks to wrestlers. Oh, but I'm a garbage man, so I'm outside enough. It's just, to go frolicking in the woods with ticks and stuff, I'll go to a baseball game.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I will say this past year, I really did get into hiking some. Took a road trip up into like Colorado and Wyoming and everything, and got to see some nice mountainy views out that way. So that was pretty cool.
I could do that. That I could do. Yeah. All right, but this is a wrestling show. We'll get to more personal stuff here in a minute. Let's do the
wrestling.
Let's do the rewind. And who introduced you to this crazy, wacky world that we both love? You know, you in ring, me out of ring. Was it Mom, Dad, Uncle Joe? I mean, who said, Dean, you have to watch this?
Honestly, it was, just the parents, my parents really, my mom and dad, because they watched wrestling, in the 70s and the 80s, and they, just like everybody else in Texas, I used to watch it when the Von Erichs were there. All right, that's cool.
Right.
But so they turned it on, and it's the Attitude Era, and who didn't love wrestling during the Attitude Era?
Exactly.
There was just so much bouncing back and forth, between both channels. With USA and TNT trying to catch all of the action. So, that kind of got me watching it. So I was always a fan. For a good 6 to 8 years, I didn't get to watch wrestling as much from about 2001 until about 2009, just because I was in school, I was in sports and all that stuff, and there was no way I was getting control of the TV to record that each Monday, because that's the parents' domain. I didn't get to touch that, and we didn't have a TiVo, so naturally I just stopped watching it. As I'm playing football, basketball, I'm running track, I'm in band, I'm in one-act play, I'm doing all this stuff in school, so I didn't get a chance to catch it, and then after I graduate and I get my own apartment, I'm just sitting down watching TV and flip it over to USA. WWE Raw is back on, and start watching it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm missing in my life. It's wrestling.
It seems every wrestling fan takes a pause for that many years or something, because there was a time right after the Attitude Era, I kind of broke away for a minute, and my co-hosts did the same thing. We were just like, maybe it was just too much at one time, that we just got it all, and we took that little bit of a break. But when you flip it back on, just like you said, Dean, it's like, why did I stop? Why did I stop? I needed this in my life.
Absolutely.
So
that's where it's at.
It is. It really is. So who did you, when you were a little guy, prior to rediscovering it again, who did you follow? Because I have a couple, and I have a comparison I want to throw at you when we get there, but who did you follow?
Back when I was a youngster, just a tyke watching the Attitude Era. I mean, who didn't love Stone Cold? Who didn't love The Rock? But my guy was DDP.
Bang! Nice.
Yes. I was a Diamond Dallas Page guy. I always loved Sting too, but Diamond Dallas Page was just he's such a great character, because he was always hurt.
He was.
It always seemed like he was hurt.
His ribs were taped more than, an NFL player after practice, or any time you saw DDP, ribs taped or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then we had, the matchup with him and Karl Malone against Hogan and Rodman is one of my favorite feuds ever, because it didn't make a ton of sense, but it was so wonderful.
Well, you brought it up, so I have to go there right now. A couple of weeks ago, did you see Shaq and Cody go at it on AEW?
I saw bits and pieces of it. I thought Shaq did a great job.
He did. A lot of people last year was so high on I forgot it. The guy that with Adam Cole. Why did I forget his name? Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
Yeah, they were high on him, and he did a lot of, all right, you can yell at me, spots, but he did good. I think Shaq kind of did better. I loved what Shaq did.
I mean, I can't say either here nor there and take away your opinion because, Shaq did wonderful. I loved what Pat McAfee did. Absolutely loved it. He just did astonishing. But, when you get trained by Rip Rogers,
right,
you're in pretty good hands.
You're in great hands. Two things we mentioned that I was trying to stay away. One, the Von Erichs in Texas, since I'm going to be talking to a lot of guys from SOAR, and I don't want every interview to be like, so do you like the Von Erichs? Do you watch the Von Erichs? Do you love the Von Erichs? Have you ever partied with the Von Erichs? Or our other one is, we're linked with OVW, so we can bring up Rip Rogers, Al Snow all the time, but they always get linked because they're great minds in wrestling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So did you watch the Von Erichs?
I've only seen tapes of them.
Okay.
I haven't actually. Yeah, I didn't actually ever get to see them. I did see their Ross and Marshall.
Right.
And then so that was good. But no, I didn't actually get to watch the Von Erichs live.
We're just going off the wall now all of a sudden. Being a wrestler in Texas, and I didn't ask Dante this, and I should have, are their names still brought up a lot? Like, do you guys in SOAR get compared to WCCW?
Every single time I talk to anybody, and they say, I'm a professional wrestler. Yeah. Oh my God, like the Von Erichs.
Right.
Yeah, I like the Von Erichs.
You're not shooting on them, but it has to be tiring, right? Why can't you guys be compared to anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, just because the territory days, this was the Von Erichs and the Freebirds, this was their domain.
It is. And you guys are trying to take over, and you are. You really are. You guys now have, I want to call it an app that's available on Roku and everything, you guys, so you can stream there for SOAR. So you guys are essentially internationally watched. So we just need to get more guys, more fans to watch SOAR because it's a great product.
I agree. Yeah, we have the app is on Fire Stick and Roku. Just look up the SOAR Championship Wrestling app. You can also look up the OIWA app, which is, where we're affiliated, the organization we're affiliated with overall, and you'll see a lot of different promotions are going to start getting put into that. But it is available to get. There's still a lot of development stuff that we have to deal with it, but overall it's coming together pretty well.
Yeah, it really is. Again, I don't want to keep bringing up Dante because this is your interview, Dean, but Dante brought me to that, and it's a fresh start. It looks great, so I'm excited. All right. So you went and you went through college and you did all that. What was the deciding factor to get in the ring and go through training and such?
WrestleMania 32 in Dallas, or it was really in Arlington at AT&T Stadium. That was kind of the significant moment where I knew it had to happen. I'd always kind of wanted a little bit about it because one of the phrases I always tell people when I was working or doing anything was like, how cool would it be to walk in a room, you hear music, and somebody hits fireworks?
Right.
Like
I'm still waiting for that.
That'd be the best feeling ever.
Right. Yeah. I always go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was about the fireworks. The Dudleys were always my favorite ones with the fireworks, by the way. But that was here or there.
Edge is my favorite pyro of all time right now. Just when he comes out and hits the the double horns up top and all that pyro's going on behind it. It's so great. But no, WrestleMania 32, me and my brother went to that, bought some floor seats for it. And, there's 101,000 people there. That's already cool shit in itself. So we're on the floor. Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family start to come out. They shut all the lights off, and then everybody gets this is during the Firefly time, so everybody gets their cell phones and hits their lights on their cell phone. And I just, from the floor, look up 4 sections high into this humongous AT&T Stadium, 101,000 people, and probably 90,000 of them have their cell phones out. You're like, it's almost like they never turned a light off. It's like they knew exactly what they were supposed to do. So this one guy and these just couple of guys were able to take this audience on this entire ride, and it just mesmerized me. I went, I got to do that.
Yeah, that just gave me chills. That just watching it that day, and then you being there talking about it. Oh, yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, it was it was at that point where I actually had to stop my brother because he had his phone flashlight up and was watching the entrance, and I just started slapping him on the arm. I was like, dude, just put your phone down and look around. Like, this guy has captured 101,000 people.
Yeah. So, big Bray Wyatt fan then?
Oh, I do. I like Bray Wyatt a lot. He's really great, but I don't know. There was just something about that moment.
Yeah.
That was just like, okay, I got to figure this out. And then, just like any wrestling fan really knows, whenever WrestleMania comes to a town, there's hundreds, thousands of promotions that want to come in and start running shows, during that week, starting on like that Wednesday. So as we're leaving, I'm seeing a bunch of just flyers on the ground from, other wrestlers handing out flyers, and then people going, I don't want to go to this, and throwing the flyer down, but I'm picking them up and looking at them because wrestling.
Right?
Around here. And I didn't even know the independent scene existed until then, if I'm being honest.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'd only ever been to like WWE events and then a couple of Impact events. I didn't know the rest of the independent scene existed because that's how much there was not necessarily big promotion of it.
That's unbelievable for down there. I thought maybe it would be running rampant, or I don't want to say that you were just like under a rock or anything, but you were just so engulfed into WWE maybe at that time that you didn't, you had blinders on because it was there. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and it's been here, and it's just one of those things where I never, I never just sat and Google searched independent wrestling promotions in the area. I just always thought, WWE, Ring of Honor, Impact, like New Japan, and, and a couple of places overseas that I'm just like, okay, so it's basically like NBA or bust essentially for people. Like, you start getting into it, you may get trained, you either get there or you don't do anything.
Wow.
That was what so that was the thinking in my head, but now I'm seeing these flyers with local wrestling, and I'm like, local wrestling? What? So I go to a couple of shows that are in the area, and, I have a good time, and I enjoy seeing what I'm seeing, and I talk to a couple of the promotions. I talk to a couple of their owners as I see them around at shows, and I'm like, all right, so tell me, how do I get into this stuff? And none of them really talked that much to me. It was shocking.
Really?
Until you check into, use Facebook or whatever to check into those events, and then you start getting random friend requests from people, fans, wrestlers in general. Just my inbox is just full of requests where I'm just like, who are you? Why are you requesting to be my friend? But one of them was Bobby Horn.
I know him. I know him, yeah.
People in the wrestling business know him as Sir Mo. you know, I didn't know that was his actual, you know, his actual name until I looked at his picture and I was like, hey, that's
Mo from Men on a Mission.
Yeah, that's Mo. So obviously I accept the friend request, and he starts, you know, when I look over at his page, I see him promoting a flyer for a show he has coming up, and he said he needed like some assistance with it. I said, hey man, I messaged him. I was like, hey, what do you need? Like, I'm not in the business whatsoever. I'm only a fan, but you know, if I can help, I'd love to help. Like, yeah, we just need some people to work security or help with the ring or any of that. I'm like, cool, count me in. What day? What time? And so it was an outdoor event, and it ended up getting rained out. So I didn't really get to go and do any of that. And I messaged him. I was like, man, I'm kind of bummed about that. I was really looking forward to going to it, hoping maybe that could get my foot in the door to try to get in the business. He was like, well, I can train you. I've done this for a little bit. And I was like, okay, so let's look at that. So I met him out at like a little park, and we did a big tryout. You know, he ran me half to death, and you know, there it is. I met up with Mo, did my tryout. He said, yeah, I think we can continue this, and went from there. And like I said, when I came in, I said, hey, I want to either be like a referee or a manager. And the reason being, I don't think my knees, because I have the knees of an athlete. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. I was a catcher in high school. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I have the knees of an athlete. I get up and they hurt for no reason whatsoever.
Yep.
So I was like, I don't know if they could take all the stuff, you know, because I'm thinking, hey, I'm not a big guy, and every time I see any guy that's almost my size on these, you know, these events, they're trying to flip around and jump around, and I'm like, I'm not backflipping. I don't backflip.
Done. I'm not Ricochet. It's not happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. And he was like, oh no. He's like, yeah, well, you'd be shocked. I was like, well, let me just do this managing thing for now, and you know, we'll see what happens from there. So that was my start. I started as a manager in the world of professional wrestling.
We'll get there. Because a couple different questions on that. But how long did you train with Mo? Because up here, there's an 18-month class. Being linked to OVW, you know, you could go a couple years through, you know, Rip and Al and a couple other guys that are down there. How long was your training with Mo?
So, I mean, quite honestly, my training is still ongoing. But this is going to be the wildest part, probably out of any story ever.
Nice.
My tryout date was October 16th, 2016.
Okay.
The event he was promoting was November the 5th, 2016. He told me to show up to the venue, help with the ring and everything, wear my nice stuff because I was going in to be a manager. I was in that show.
Holy crap.
So like 2 weeks worth, I'd done a few rope drills, and I bumped and I did all that, yada, 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 yada. And his big thing, when we were training was like, I would do all the physical stuff. And then afterwards he's like, all right, I want you to talk about this, talk about that, talk about this, for 3 days a week for those 2 weeks. I talked about stuff for a long time. So he was like, so you can talk really well. Here's a microphone, talk. What? I'm only in front of, it's first event. So I'm in front of about 85 people. I'm nervous as all get out, and had to cut a promo early on to try to tell people who I was.
Oh boy! Two weeks in.
2 weeks in. Why am I doing this? I don't know, but I, and I told him, I was like, hey, the best way I learn anyway is just throw me in the fire and let me figure it out, and that's exactly what he did.
Sink or swim. Yeah. So about 5 years we're rounding in the business. as you said, you started as a manager 2 weeks. That's blowing my mind. And then you made your way into the ring. So you just gave me that whole synopsis of being first day as a manager. What was the first day as, okay, now you actually get a match? There's butterflies two different ways, because you were only talking as a manager. Now you're actually in a match. How does that feel?
It was different. I did have my first in-ring experience, in front of the crowd that following April, in April 2017, but it was all part of the storyline that we were running together. So I didn't have to do like a whole lot of stuff there. It was mainly just me falling around.
You got your ass beat, is what you're telling me.
Yes, because I was a manager. Right. And then we went into another long feud between me and another guy that I was managing, and then we broke apart and had that whole thing. I kidnapped his wife and kid. Don't worry about that part. But anyway,
you could find that somewhere on the internet.
Anyway, we ended up in a match that following September. Again, didn't have to do much. Whooped my ass all up and down. But from that moment, from September 2017, I would go to a bunch of random shows with Mo when he was booked on them, and whether it would be, he wanted me to manage him just to get that experience, or he just wanted me to go along to notice. And as I'm going on all these shows, I'm looking at some of the people that are in the ring, and I'm saying, that guy's got knees worse than mine. That guy's not as near as in shape as me. That guy doesn't look like he can. That guy can't talk that well. And I don't mean to,
No, you're not slamming anybody.
Yeah, I'm not slamming anybody or putting them down. I'm just like, I'm just comparing that to me and saying, so I can do this. I can do all of this. Okay, so let me start to do this then. So I started actually by doing like birthday party matches. Anytime we would book birthday parties from like March 2018 all the way into about fall 2018. So we always do birthday parties for SOAR. Kid books birthday party, adults book birthday parties, whatever. We take the ring out to where they are. We set it up, give them about 3, 4, 5 matches worth of a card, and just hang out with them. So it was to the point where we would do that, but we were trying to do that with our wrestling trainee students so they have some experience. But the problem was we didn't have a lot of people that would be able to go to them. So it would be me and like 3 other people that would set the ring up and yada, yada, yada. And I'm going, okay, so I have to figure out a way with us 4 people to pull 3 matches together.
Okay. How the hell do we do this?
And so the way I always set it up was, and it always worked out perfectly for me, is I would manage one of the guys in the first match and have him against another guy. So me and the guy I would be managing would be in the ring first, obviously just trashing the birthday person, and have this other big good guy come out and, stand up for the birthday person. And then I'd say, all right, fine. You want to fight my guy? I'll let you fight my guy. Give me a ref out here. And then we wouldn't have a ref because we didn't have enough people. So then I would say, oh, we don't have a ref. And I'd pull a Sharpie out of my pocket and I would draw black lines on my white shirt. And say I'm the ref now.
I love it.
And then as I'm this evil manager, special guest referee, I'm cheating my ass off just like I'm supposed to.
You're Danny Davis. Yeah.
So then after that, I have the other person come out. The other person would come out and say, no, you're such a cheater, yada, yada, yada. And I would say, fine, you want to fight me? You can fight me, but you got to find a ref first. So we would always get the birthday person to come in and be the ref for that match.
Oh,
and I would get my ass beat a little bit. And then I'd cheat. We'd turn it into something with the guy that I managed before. Me and him would go into a tag team match with the other two guys in the school with the birthday person as the ref. So we made 3 matches work with 4 people.
Damn it, Dean. I'm mad at Dante now. Dante, if you're listening to this, 2 days ago was my birthday. If I could have booked SOAR for me to be a special referee 2 days ago, I would have loved this. Damn, you guys could have came up to Pennsylvania in the snow and did this for me.
We've got plenty of people now to where I don't have to do that as much, but I still like to try to get the birthday person involved. But yeah, that's how I would always have to set it up.
It sounds like a blast though. That was worth everything. I'm sure everybody had a fun time. Fun. Yeah.
So fun. And I'm out there wrestling in my dress shirt, the tie, and my Oxford wingtip shoes.
It's almost like you're reading my notes. My next question was, after all the training and this, that, and the other thing, tell me who the undeniable Dean Fleming is, but I'm going to shift it real quick. I see you as Steve Blackman because you do some submission moves. You have, the harder style, like we said, you're not Ricochet, but instantly, I know the teacher, but I see the right to censor with Stevie Richards as well. Those two, as soon as I saw a couple matches, I'm like, I can't get this out of my mind. So am I close or am I just completely off?
It's a little bit off because, so the way it turned out, the way everything started was, like I said, as the manager, and it would be me coming out and saying, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dean Fleming, talent agent. Give him a little wink and a point. And so all those years ago, I decided, hey, I'm going to step into the wrestling world. I can prove I can take my winning ways here and help all these people out. But wait a minute, I'm also really smart. I have a lot of intellect and a lot of skills. So if I can make these people champion, I can make myself a champion.
Yeah.
So no longer am I wasting my time and my talent and all that on these other people. I'm going to do it myself because I was undeniably talented enough to do it myself. So I said, let's shed the talent agent moniker. I'm no longer the talent agent. I'm just the talent. There is no more denying me. Oh, I am the undeniable one, Dean Fleming.
And now you're the first ever Grand Champion at SOAR.
First ever Grand Slam Champion at SOAR. I've held every title that we have.
And you're a genius. And you're absolute genius because you got rid of some of the dead weight.
Sometimes you have to do that.
So, as we said that you've been in the business for about 5 years, I have some people I want to bring up, but am I right you wrestled overseas a little bit as well?
I did. I went out to British Empire Wrestling, actually 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, I went out to British Empire Wrestling.
Tell me the experience, because I have never been to that arena, that organization, or even in Great Britain or anything. How's the crowds different? Tell me just everything comparative to Texas and Great Britain.
We went to, it's basically right there in London. There was a little town right outside of London that they held their events at. But overall, I mean, the crowd was great. As long as it was just like over here. If you give them something to feel, they're going to feel it and they're going to go with you on it. So when I went over there the first time was in 2018. September 2018. I went as a manager, and I was managing one Barrett Brown.
TikTok star Barrett Brown.
Yeah, that's that's my guy, you know. So the first thing I do is I get in the ring, I snatch the microphone out of the hand of the announcer, and I start trashing Great Britain as the arrogant American.
Nice.
You know,
I love it.
The person that just knows that America's better than them. And then I gave them 1,776 reasons, which was 1776, the year we beat them,
right,
of why America was better. But I stopped at about number 8, so I didn't have to keep going.
Or were you stopped at number 8 by getting waylaid in the mouth?
Oh, no, I got waylaid in the mouth. Actually, I got booed almost right out of the building when I started singing the Star-Spangled Banner.
So you're Nikolai Volkov, just our version over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I told everybody that I needed them to stand because we were going to sing the national anthem, and it was, no, our anthem, ours is better than yours, and then started singing, and they hated it.
They hated it.
And then I just, like I said, I went down a few reasons. I was like, 1, our teeth are better. Like 2, we have real money because I don't know if you've ever seen their British money, but it does look like a piece of paper.
Monopoly money, it really does.
Yeah,
it
so
really is.
That's exactly what I called it to them, and they hated that. So that was a good time there. And then, so like I said, if you make the crowd feel, they're gonna go with you. So when I went back the following year in September 2019, they remembered me. And they booed me so much from there, and they loved to tell me how, America was gross and stinky. So I asked them which part they'd been to, and they said New York. And I said, well, New York. What'd you think? And then I said, but to be fair, London is the New York of England. So take that as you will. You didn't like that either.
You're very quick-witted. I love that. I love that about you. A couple matches I want to talk about, and then we'll dive into some silly stuff.
Perfect.
Let's go back to 2018 because I did see this one. You had a lumberjack match against Skippy, and it was kind of at a fire hall, and you damn near didn't make it out alive. That was a hell of a match. You were dastardly in that match. How did that all come about? Because it's available on YouTube. If you guys haven't watched it, being outright, you were a dick in the match, Dean. I know you changed your ways, but you were a dick.
That's absolutely a fact. I was so mean.
It was amazing, though.
Skippy the fire chief. So we were at the volunteer fire department in Toole, Texas. And I called out the fire chief and said that they weren't real firemen because they were just volunteers, which means they weren't pros because they weren't paid. They took some offense to that, so he challenged me to a fight. So we fought.
The crowd was red hot. Literally.
Yeah.
I actually watched 2 versions of it. One, the woman recording it was screaming bloody murder at you. In the other one, it was shot at a weird angle, but it really looked like some people came after. Did people really come after you?
Absolutely. Yeah. They absolutely did. And some of them were the firemen as well. So we had to get some of my people in there to kind of help with that part. But yeah, there's some people taking some swings and some swipes at me as they got really close. They were not happy with one Dean Fleming.
How did that all? Besides you just provoking them that night, how did that all come about? That was it just that night it came up, or was this set up for a while?
No, that lumberjack match was actually our second match because the first match we had a good old firehouse street fight. So me and Skippy just kind of fought all over the place. But once I saw that he was getting ready to have his boys intervene. I ducked out of the ring with some of my guys, and we left, and I didn't finish the match. And then Mo got mad and said, fine, you're not going to leave this time. Next month, we're going to do a lumberjack match, so I couldn't leave.
The damn lumberjack match. It caused Miz the title a couple weeks ago. So
it really did.
Another person that we recently had on Can Crusher Spotlight was Nikita Koloff. You've been around the Koloff dynasty. You've shared the locker room with Nikita. Have you ever gotten the chance just to kind of sit down and bend his ear on wrestling and everything that he promotes nowadays, Man Camp and anything like that?
I didn't get a good chance just to sit and talk in length and in depth with him. But while I was in the locker room with him, I did, I was listening in as he was giving other people advice and how he's tying that back to something that he did or he saw back in the day. So it was just really cool to see that connection from the quote unquote old school to where it's at now, and how that, any slight movement, any kind of awareness or any of that still goes hand in hand, even from, 80s, 90s into today. So. Right.
And another match I want to bring up, I actually watched this pay-per-view in full since we've spoken recently. I watched SOARcade 2020. And first of all, top to bottom, I love the card. But you were in a 3-on-1 match against the Persian Army and literally just getting your ass handed to you until Kerwin Nix came out to help you. And the Persian Army, just a bunch of son of a guns that just, how did this all come about? Because, listen, we're pulling the wall down here. I'm just on SOAR now, so I'm catching up with everything. Mm-hmm. When I talk to whoever, I hurry up and watch whatever I can. I want to know more because I'm just engulfed now into SOAR with all you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure. So actually, the whole thing with the Persian Army started in July when we started running shows again because, COVID shut everything down. So we start opening back up again, and we're like, hey, July, we're going to start running these events. But during that time, from March until July before that, we had all of the champions stripped of their titles at SOAR. And then we crowned new champions with tournaments and all of that good stuff over the few months for when we opened back up. So I was the world heavyweight champion going into that, and got stripped of that. So July, we had a tournament to crown a new world heavyweight champion, which at the end of the day, Dante Smiley ended up winning. But I won my first two matchups in that tournament, getting ready to go into the finals. And as I was celebrating my second win, Omega, the bigger guy in there,
sick,
sick, just absolutely destroyed me after the match. And I think a lot of it had to do with Persia guiding him along the way, because she has some like stage 5 clinger type vibes going on with her. Just because I brought her in to help my day to day for the winner's circle after I was done managing, and then I was like, hey, this whole thing isn't working. I need you to go somewhere else. And I guess she took big offense to that and clung to that for a while. But anyway, so she had him. He attacked me, so I couldn't finish that matchup. So I didn't get to compete for the world heavyweight title that night. Then we go into August, get to crown the SOAR North American champion, going out for my first matchup, and he blindsides me again. So yeah, that was pretty gnarly again, but I ended up winning the North American championship. But I got some revenge on him later on, September. I kind of took a kendo stick to him and Nassim Jafari. Took it to them. They once again attacked me in November, and then in October, had that match against Omega in November, where I beat him after him and the Vanilla Gorilla, Justin James, at the time had some miscommunication, and then he turned right into my finishing move, also called the Ultimatum. It looks very similar to a Claymore kick.
Yeah, it does.
Saying that,
I'm not
saying that's exactly what it is, but that's exactly what it is.
It's close. No, your leg's a little bit higher. It's close because you're not ripping anything off. It's close.
Yeah, but yeah, so I give him that high kick right there. So right after that, Persian Army got mad at that, attacked me again after the match, and then Jason Maldonado, one of the owners of SOAR Championship Wrestling, said, hey, since you like defending that title so much, you're now going to be in a 3-on-1 handicap match at SOARcade. Oh, good luck in keeping that title.
Yeah. And you did.
And I did. I did have that help out. So that was good. And it helped that there was the implosion from the Vanilla Gorilla and Omega as they weren't on the same page again. So.
Yeah, guys, get online and find that. That is a great card, top to bottom. I enjoyed so many of those matches. Let's pause from wrestling for a little bit. Let's find some more about Dean. If you don't know Dean or if you don't know SOAR or anything, what do you nerd out about? Are you a video gamer? Are you, a rock star when you're not doing random things? Like, what else? What do you nerd out about?
Oh, so it sounds weird, but I really nerd out about wrestling. But when I'm not focused on that, superheroes.
Okay.
I like watching the superhero movies, playing superhero video games. I just kind of like that entire genre. Like right now, I'm into binging some of the Netflix CW shows. I'm kind of in the middle of Supergirl right now, so.
Oh, so you're more of a series one instead. Well, you're the Marvel movies and stuff like that then too, right?
Oh yeah, the Marvel movies are my absolute favorite thing. But I ran out of all the movies to watch after about the 12th time of watching them all. So I was like, let me give something else a shot. And actually, my girlfriend was the one that pitched these CW shows to me. Because I like superheroes, and I'd never watched Arrow, and she was like, "You got to watch this." So I watch all that, and I'm like, "Oh, that was actually really well done." I didn't really watch a bunch of DC stuff just because it didn't really catch my attention because of the lack of boom pow. When it gets loud because of explosions and fights.
Right.
So I was like, all right. So I started watching. I was like, man, this is a great show. So I was like, let me check out Flash, and it was great. I was like, let me check this one out. So, yeah, I'm just kind of watching them in that way.
You talked about hiking as well. That's some of the things that you do.
Yes, I like getting out there and going on those hikes and those nature walks and really just getting in touch with nature. It really does set everything back to, balanced whenever I get to do that. So it's really good. Kind of gets you away from the everyday grind.
Social media. Turn it off, right? You have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
You really do. You have to take days for yourself and just leave. I talked about that we're not big outdoorsy people, but we'll go throw a pond in the water and fish a little bit and just sit by, a lake. That's what we like to do. No phones, no nothing. Just sit out there and hopefully not catch anything because I don't want to clean fish. So we should just go sit by the water is what we should do.
Catch and release out here. It's catch and release out here.
Oh, yeah. Normally we do too, but the wife won't bait her hook, but she'll take the fish off. The son will take the fish off. No, he'll bait his hook, but won't take the fish off either. So, yeah, I don't get the fish. I just get to play with both of their fishing rods. That's all.
Yeah. Fun.
Fun. You did say, and this is where I was going, you did say you nerd out about wrestling. What do you watch? I know you're watching it for study, but do you watch it for fun too?
Oh, absolutely. I always like to watch it for fun. Just, whenever it comes on Mondays and Wednesdays and then their pay-per-views, I usually sit and watch those for fun, or the Fridays as well. I'll sit and watch all of that for fun. When I go to study, I try to find particular matches and particular people. So I'll use the WWE Network and YouTube and, you know, whatever I can get my hands on when I'm studying. But when I'm watching for, you know, as a fan, I'm just watching to watch.
What? Good. Yeah. This could get you in trouble, but let's see how you answer it. If you answer it PC or true. Do you like one of the three better? Because there's WWE, which we have said is Raw and SmackDown. There's AEW, and then there's NXT. Do you pull yourself the ones that can't miss?
Not really, because I just, like I said, I watch them all, and I get them all recorded on the old DVR, so I can just go back and watch them all. So even if I even if I miss one, I still go back and watch the other one.
Yep. I'll put it this way then, because I'm going to see if you're like my co-hosts on Sunday show. Do you watch them live and spend, what did I add up one time, 24 hours a week and watch them live, or do you DVR of all of them and just watch them when you get time quickly?
That's mostly what I do is DVR and then go back and watch. Occasionally I'll watch it live, but it's not often, just because of, you know, working out, training, working, you know, day-to-day life. So
yeah. And final question about this, and who is your major tape study right now that you're kind of focusing on that one person?
It's actually between a couple of people. One is The Miz. I love everything that The Miz does.
Thank you.
And that he has done. So
thank you.
I watch a lot of his movements in the ring. And then when I'm going back and I need to see a lot of different stuff, I always turn to Ric Flair.
He's kind of pretty good.
Yeah, he was decent at the wrestles back in the day, so.
Yeah. So what's next? You just became the first ever Grand Slam champion, and you put it to the self-made men. What's next for the Undeniable one?
You know, we'll see who wants to come after these tag titles, and, you know, we'll take them on. But outside of that, you know, I'm just getting my name out there and trying to get some other places, you know, like heading out to Colorado to work with Rocky Mountain Pro out there. A good bunch of guys out that way. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Just seeing where else we can go and then get these tag titles with some eyes on them.
So there's a possibility then that we could see, or we could try to coerce you guys to come to Pennsylvania, defend those, make them legit world titles then, right?
Personally, I would love to come up there and make that happen. So
nice. I know a few people. We need to talk. Goals in the next 5 years for Dean, and this one will get you in trouble because I will not leave you to get a PC answer. They both give you the same amount of money, WWE and AEW. All right, same amount of money. Your grandchildren's are set. Where do you sign, AEW or WWE?
As of right now, I would have to say WWE. And it is strictly because of this purpose. AEW is still growing, and they're doing wonderful, wonderful things, but there's no denying that WWE right now is the number one company worldwide when you talk about across every brand and everything that they're doing.
I couldn't disagree with you more. I agree. AEW is great. They have numbers on Wednesday, but if you look at the scheme, you know, like what the product is right now or not on WWE, they're still the main one that people will say. Yep. So I like your answer for being true.
Well, I think it was I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was one of those weeks where, like, you know, WWE Raw was kind of down in the TV ratings, and somebody said something about them like, oh, they're only at 1.1 million viewers, and I'm like, that's 1.1 million viewers.
Right.
What are we talking? And then they're, you know, and then again, this is not any kind of shot at like AEW, but they're like, oh, look, they had 800,000. That's so great for them. And I'm like, wait, what makes 1.1 million less than 800,000? What makes it less than that? Like, I don't understand what you mean.
Right? Exactly.
It's like if you compare it to the NXT numbers, it's like, yes, AEW is still beating NXT, but you also got to remember NXT is the third brand, if we're technically speaking.
Right. Right.
But,
see, NWA is back now. Would that be an option? Billy Corgan gives you a phone call and says, hey, how about you come over here?
Oh, I would absolutely go over there and work with NWA, just because, you know, it's another opportunity to get seen.
Al Snow said it best one time. He was the main guy for the Job Squad. But guess what? Al Snow was on TV more than Triple H or The Rock or any of those other guys. They took weeks off. Al Snow got his ass beat every week, and you remember Al Snow because of that.
Ah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy like R-Truth.
Exactly.
R-Truth is, how long has he been doing this? How much money is he making? Because he gets to go out there and just have fun, be goofy, doesn't matter. He is seen in 3 to 4 different segments every Monday or Friday.
Yep. And I say this jokingly, but it's true. He's laughing to the bank. Yeah, I'll go on and be an idiot on TV. I would do that for free because I'm an idiot in my life. But he gets to do that, have fun, and just he hasn't had a quote match in forever. He's just rolling around, and I don't say that disrespectful. He's just rolling around having fun. It's the same thing I did when I was 8, 9 years old in my yard. He's doing it now and getting millions of dollars. Good for him.
It's everything you did with your sibling when your parents told you not to do it.
Right.
He gets paid to do it.
Right.
It's the best.
Goals in the next 5 years.
Goals in the next 5 years. One is I want to hit at least 8 different states that I've competed in over that time. At least 8. And the reason I say that right now is just because the reason the number's only at 8 and not more is just because of everything that's happening right now with with COVID. As long as that gets under control, that vaccine gets out there and we're back opened up, then that number is going to go up for me. But that's one. 2, I want to increase the social media a lot more. 3, I would love to be signed to a major company. In that case, we're talking, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, any of those type. Want to be signed to a contract with those guys. Let's see. Oh, now I need. Yeah, that's about what I got. That's about 3 good goals that I have over the next 5 years.
Those are great goals. They really are. I like that you're real too about, the baby steps of 8 right now, because let's be real. COVID's essentially not going away. Yes, the vaccine is out there and everything, but everybody's going to open in due time. It's just going to be, you can't say, I'm going to wrestle in 8 different states this weekend. Good for you. Good for you. You're
right.
Yeah. So that's cool. 2 of my favorite questions left. Then I'll let you sell some merch and increase your social media. Best advice that you give kids when they come up and talk to you saying, hey, Dean, I want to be a wrestler when I grow up. What do I do first?
All right. This is going to sound negative in a sense, but it's really not. Figure out figure out what it is that you like to do outside of wrestling first. Because wrestling is dangerous. One step the wrong way and it could be done. So that's always my biggest thing is figure out what would a career option be if you could not wrestle, and then find a reputable school. Get trained by somebody that knows what they're doing and what they're talking about and that other people respect. That's the main advice.
That's the best advice given. I love, you think that it sounds negative, but it doesn't, because the names, Edge could have been done forever. Sting, Daniel Bryan, and then Stone Cold. The list goes on, and it's just that quick. And then
I mean, Bret Hart, Paige.
Yeah.
You know.
And then what do you do when you're 30 the rest of your life? You're not completely incapacitated, but you're not going to get signed off on to wrestle ever again from anybody. So, yeah.
Right. I mean, I even look at a guy like Corey Graves. He's such a great announcer, but he had so many concussions. Like, he was so good when it came to being in the ring, but he had so many concussions or other injuries that he's not going to be cleared to compete again.
Yeah.
But he was able to, he found that one thing, that niche, you know, they were able to work him into it to be good. But there's plenty of people just like him that aren't going to be able to just step into commentary and still be a part of wrestling. So then what?
Yeah. Exactly. Corey Graves actually a local boy for us. Saw him a lot at IWC Wrestling out of Pittsburgh, and that's a place I think that you need to check out. And like I said, we can talk a little bit more here in the near future. All right, this is my favorite one, and you have to listen because everybody messes it up. I don't know how. You guys, when I say dream match, you guys
we don't listen.
Yeah, you don't listen.
We're trying to get our stuff in. We're not listening to these questions.
I know. The dream match of who is always an ender for any podcast, but I want to know where you want it. Like, you would probably say in Texas, in the Sportatorium or someplace like that, which isn't there anymore. But I also have a third caveat. I want the stipulation. So who, where, and what stipulation match are you going to have with your dream opponent?
Dream opponent, where, and stipulation. All right. So I'm still on this kick. I was like, I'm still on this kick. I'm such a Miz guy. I would love to step in the ring with the Miz. I think our personalities would be great across the ring from each other. So I'm going to go Miz. I'm going to go AT&T Stadium down in Arlington because it is close to home. We can pack that thing out. And, man, stipulation, that's always a tough one. But ladder matches are always something that can get the crowd into it and can be exciting. There is some danger behind it, but he's always been great at those two. So let's go ladder match, Miz, AT&T Stadium.
Nice. So it's going to be WrestleMania then. Clearly, it's going to be WrestleMania as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because we're putting the Money in the Bank ladder match. When we buy the WWE, we're putting the Money in the Bank ladder match back at WrestleMania instead of having its own pay-per-view. But that's neither here nor there. All right. This is your time. This is your time to shine. You said, not in your words, but I'm going to spin it, that you suck at social media a little bit and you need to grow it. So let's grow it with the 5,000 Can Crusher Nation, because they're going to go out and give you some followers, and then sell some merch as well.
I gotcha. So you could find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dean Fleming 903. Dean Fleming 903. That's all together. That's the handles for Twitter and Instagram. You can see me on Facebook. You can find my fan page, The Undeniable One, Dean Fleming. Help grow some followers in all of those cases. You could also, if you would like some Dean Fleming merchandise, I've got 3 different options, trying to get a 4th option up right now. It should be up pretty soon for T-shirts on ProWrestlingTees.com. Search for me, Dean Fleming. You'll see my picture, and that is where you get some purchases.
Yeah, I actually went to Pro Wrestling Tees already, and I really do love your winning isn't everything, it's the only thing shirt. You're probably going to be seeing my name run across your Pro Wrestling Tees stores real quick, because it's a sweet shirt, guys. So check them out there. The social media, we tag them in everything. So if you didn't understand what he said or you didn't write it down fast enough, it's tagged, guys. Don't be morons. That's what we do here on Can Crushers. We make fun of you, we make fun of the wrestlers, and we have a good time. Dean, this has been great. We need to stay in touch. We need to come back on, because there's more matches that I want to bring up, but it's an hour and a half show. We can't just, we can't just keep going, because then Dante will come back on and say, dude, you only gave me an hour and 15. Why the hell are you giving Dean more time than me? I'm Mr. Prime Time here, right?
Yeah, that's right. He'll be like, I'm the hardest worker in the room. He'll start to get that Dante preach on.
Right? Last question, and this one, have you listened to his rap album yet, Dante's?
Some of it.
Yeah, it's not bad. I love it. I do. I love it. Still pushing Dante's rap album. I am. More people need to listen to it.
Go listen to him. You got to support our independent and local type artists. Yeah, but Dante is such a multi-talented human being. So
yeah, you said it off air. He's good people. He really is. All right, Dean, I'll let you go. I'm sure you're gonna, go watch Ric Flair do some woos, or maybe you're gonna hit the gym. But thanks for stopping by Can Crushers, buddy.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Guys, you've heard me talk about SOAR before. If you've not checked out SOAR yet, go back and listen to that Dante Smiley interview that I had a couple months ago. He has since been on AEW, this, that, and the other thing. Dean Fleming is also on that SOAR. Guys, I have it on the Roku. It is a great watch. That show that I was talking about in there, SOARcade 2020 is on there. Watch it. Enjoy. We're going to have more with SOAR. I'm not going to spoil it, but next week is another huge SOAR star. Dean Fleming. Undeniably one of the greatest guys. I can't wait till COVID is up and gone in history, and we can make the trek down to Texas. That's someplace that the English professor and I have always talked about. One, because of world-class championship wrestling. I want to lay on the hollow grounds as a sportatorium. And John wants to, of course, run into the Von Erichs of whatever, because he wants to party like a rock star. But there's wrestling down there that we have not really engulfed yet. And SOAR's one of them that, in the past couple of weeks, you guys, that some of these are pre-recorded and this, that, and the other, but I've dove in headfirst watching old school, new school stuff from Texas, and it's different than what we get up here in Pittsburgh, and it's not a bad thing. It's great. It's amazing, and that's why I want to do so much more with SOAR, and I can't wait. I really can't, so I'm pretty pumped up. All right, guys, you know what to do next. Go out, like, share, follow, all that stuff here with Can Crushers, and you know where to find us everywhere. Anywhere that's social media, it's at Can Crushers 69. Send us an email, cancrusher69@gmail.com, and it's Spotify, iHeartRadio. Mophie has some of our episodes on. Anchor, I always say Archer, has our episodes. Just engulf. Please do the ratings, do the shares, the follows, and all of that, because it only helps us get bigger and bigger. So remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.